Now let's get to that press conference. Emergency crews in Rockton giving the latest in a live update on that massive chemical plant explosion and fire. Let's listen in. That is the fire chief.
Our hearts are with those employees that are currently unemployed. I will give you a brief synopsis of the events that taken place today, and I'll start with the initial call. This morning we received a call at 7 a.m. for smoke in the building at 1165 Prairie Hill Road, which is the Chemtool or Lubrizol manufacturing plant. And what they do there is manufacture lubricants and basically a very large industrial type building, and also a lot of product, a lot of lubricants and things like that were stored in this building as well. So after we received the call, our first engine got on scene and reported heavy fire conditions in the building, and we also had fire coming through the roof. So we had a pretty volatile fire going on at that time, and we tried to make an initial attack. Unfortunately, our events failed, and due to firefighter safety and the safety of all the employees and personnel, we got everybody back and we went to a defensive type fire. At that point, we had concerns on the environmental impact if we dumped copious amounts of water on this incident. So we stopped some of the water suppression, some of the fire suppression, and we went ahead and let the product burn off. Due to the fact that the Rock River sits just west of Chemtool, about 500 yards, we were extremely concerned that that would turn into an environmental challenge later on down the road. So right now, as we speak, we're asking residents within the 1 mile radius of the incident to evacuate. We put that order out this morning. I understand that many people have questions on when they're going to be able to go home. Right now, we don't have that answer. However, we're continuing monitoring the situation and doing air quality checks, things of that nature in the surrounding area, in downtown Rockton, and over towards Roscoe. The evacuation point which we set this morning was in Roscoe, Illinois. It was at the Roscoe Middle School, thank you. I'm not sure how many evacuees are currently at that location. However, we do have local officials working with those folks as well. We have many agencies here. We have local, state, and federal agencies currently on the scene working to mitigate this incident. We have the EPA, both federal and state EPA on location. And again, we are effortlessly, continuously monitoring the air quality. So tonight there are some concerns on the weather and the actual the drop of the smoke plume. So we're going to continue to monitor that as well. So at this time, I would like to introduce Chief Michelle Pankow. Chief Pankow is from the City of Rockford Fire Department, who is also on the scene assisting with hazardous materials and also suppression. So Chief Pankow.
Thank you, Chief Wilson. Good evening, everyone. In addition to the fire department, my role here is also as emergency management. The Mayor of Rockford was unable to attend, but I'm happy to step in for him and provide you a little bit of perspective on what we're doing from the Emergency Operations Center. Earlier this morning, the City of Rockford Fire Department, the City of Rockford, Winnebago County, and numerous local agencies activated our Winnebago County Emergency Operations Center to support Chief Wilson and the Rockton Fire Department in response to this incident. The mayor has been in contact with the governor throughout the day, and we are thankful and extremely happy at the quick response from the state to support us locally and the resources that have already been provided. We'll continue to work through the Winnebago County EOC to support the operation here in response to the incident, and also to support the community. And we, again, thank everyone for their patience as we continue to work through this and in supporting the surrounding communities. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Alicia Tate-Nadeau. I am the Director of Illinois Emergency Management, representing Governor Pritzker. Early this morning, Governor Pritzker was notified of the incident that was occurring. In abundance of caution and to be proactive in nature, he directed me to activate the State Emergency Operations Center. And in doing so, we have the following state agencies that have been brought to bear. You have on ground today coordination with the federal EPA. You also have state EPA that is on site. The Illinois State Police is supporting. Department of Transportation. We also have Illinois Emergency Management that is working in public health. In coordination, what we are doing is we are focused on life safety. Our primary focus is to ensure that everyone in this area is safe and that we have a coordinated response. Every single person that is standing up here today is here in support of the incident commander or the gentleman that spoke to you earlier. Our intent is, again, to make sure that this response is as smoothly as possible. We have been in coordination and discussion with the facility owners to understand exactly what chemicals are there, and so we can make sure that we have the correct response. With that, unless you have any further questions for me, I will turn it over to Director Kim, who is the Director of Illinois EPA. Director Kim.
Thank you. Again, my name is John Kim, K-I-M. I'm Director of the Illinois EPA. And first of all, I think we want to make sure that we note that on behalf of our agency, on behalf of the governor, we feel very deeply concerned about all the employees and displaced families that are going through this process right now. We're very concerned about their health, obviously. We're very concerned about the aftermath of what has happened at the facility, and so we're going to take every precaution that we can to err on the side of being overly protective and make sure that we are doing all the right things for the citizens of this area. So our agency, as Director Tate-Nadeau referenced, is part of the state's response to the situation. Our agency oversees the initial environmental impact, assists in making decisions in terms of how responses should be made, what protective measures should be put into place, and then we are also making sure that once the conditions have stabilized, that all proper steps are taken so that what remains is going to be properly addressed. If there is any kind of remediation that's needed, if there are any other kinds of corrective action that are needed at the facility, at the site, then we will oversee that and we will work with the responsible parties to make sure that that happens as well. We have been working closely with local officials, with other state agencies as noted, and with our partners with US EPA. We have had our emergency response staff responded as soon as we learned the severity of the fire, and our staff in our headquarters office and our field offices have been working to review field data to try and help set up information so that we can review the modeling information that's been provided, to work with US EPA and other federal partners as we continue to provide assistance in determining what kind of steps need to be taken to, again, going forward, make sure that today, tonight, tomorrow, and the days coming on, that the residents are all going to be protected and kept out of harm's way. And I'm going to turn it over now to Dr. Martell.
I'm Dr. Sandra Martell, S-A-N-D-R-A. M as in Mary, A-R-T-E-L-L. I'm the Public Health Administrator for Winnebago County. So first of all, I'd like to reiterate what every one of us has said, that we are first and foremost focused on life safety and addressing the concerns to make sure that we mitigate the current existing conditions. As well, we went into the Emergency Operations Center. Our environmental health has been working with both the Illinois and the US EPA to mitigate what we've got. We've got an environmental concern of an immediate fire with chemicals, and then we have items that were not intended to burn. And so how do we protect our community? And from the beginning of this, whether you're talking about COVID-19 that many of you have met me through, we again are here to protect our community and maintain their life safety. So with that, the Emergency Operations Center is a coordinated response. I want to remind the public that we're asking their cooperation once again. So within that 1 mile that we ask that you safely evacuate. And we are providing assistance through our partner agencies like the American Red Cross and the Salvation Army. If you are within 3 miles of the site, we are asking that you wear your face coverings, your face mask when out of doors. I know we just recently came out of the mitigations for COVID-19, but our masks are going to help prove protecting as well during all of this. And we ask that public that is not supposed to be in this area to refrain from coming in to the area. Remember, we are in a life safety active fire zone. And as much as curiosity wants you to come and take a look, we need you to cooperate once again to protect our community. And the other standpoint I want to say is we're getting a lot of postings in Facebook and emergency operations calls to the COVID-19 hotline. Please do not pick up waste that falls from the sky and related to the fire. We do not know what that waste contains. Please do not handle it with bare hands. Use a shovel, use gloves, and sequester it, meaning keep it separate from your household waste so that we know how to properly dispose of it. It's very important. We are reliant on our groundwater in this community, and keeping that safe is of utmost importance to us. I want to assure the public that everyone here is working diligently round the clock to address the changing situation, and will keep the public informed of that. And so with that, we will entertain any questions.
Right now, the air quality, as far as I'm being told by the state and federal EPA, the ground level is okay. What we're concerned with is particulates that may be in the air. So that's why Dr. Martell is asking anyone within, that radius to just put a mask on for your own safety. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to continue to monitor that, and the state and federal EPA have set monitoring stations throughout the village of Rockton, and also on the west side of Rockton and over into the Roscoe area. So we want to continue to monitor those air quality samples, and if things change, then at that point in time, then we'll change on what we will do as far as any further evacuation or anything of that nature. So.
Well, Chief Wilson, you've been saying a 1 mile radius for evacuation. We got a press release earlier from the governor's office saying it's 2 miles.
No, that's not correct. It's always been 1 mile. Now, we started early this morning with the 1 mile radius. So any information, like I said, that you're seeing on Facebook, make sure it's coming from a reliable source, whether it be from the Winnebago County Emergency Operations Center or our Fire Protection District.
Chief, I know you were talking about having all the crews and the debris falling. Have you had any crews report back that any grass fires have gotten out of control?
We throughout the day we've had several grass fires, but they've been contained just into that area. Behind Chemtool there's an open field, but those have been taken care of, so those are being contained.
So no worries right now about
No.
running into
Absolutely not. And just to give you an idea too, the actual fire itself is contained into one area, so there's no exposure problems to any other buildings or anything of that nature too.
What about the Rock River?
Absolutely, we're worried about it, and that's what our main concern is. So right now we're monitoring that. We don't have any spillage in the Rock River or any kind of runoff. Again, and our environmental partners are keeping a close eye on that as well.
Dr. Martell, you talked about the need to wear masks if you're within 3 miles of the area. Given the nature of what's burning, what's your concern for what people could be taking into their lungs if they are not wearing masks?
So the question is regarding masking, and again, it's a layer of protection. At this point, because we're monitoring, it's a constantly evolving situation. We're learning more. That's why the monitors are out there. What's starting of the day is night and the dew fall. Again, that's why we're very concerned about that. So again, why not protect our lungs? We're extremely cautionary at this point. But the important part is, what can you as a community do to protect your own health? You can wear that face covering that protected you against COVID-19. Well, we're concerned about any particulate matter at this point. Any of them can be a pulmonary irritant. So what we're talking about is a compromising your immune system, people with asthma, people with underlying respiratory conditions. We must be extremely cautious about them breathing in any type of particulate matter.
Hi again, Alicia Tagnado from Illinois Emergency Management. So the Tier 2 chemicals that we're talking about are chemicals that we know are caustic in nature, and they are required to report, the facility is required to report those. So whenever this incident initially occurred, we ended up pulling that list to look at those so we knew exactly how much on an average day they had in the facility. And it begins to help folks like public health determine, what are the precautions that we need to take to protect the public. It also is very critical whenever local fire and hazmat is on site. It helps them to identify how best to respond to the incident. So there are a number.
That is the latest from Rockton, Illinois. That fire ripping and will continue to rip for days to come. They are not going to put it out. The environmental concerns multiple-fold right now. What is in the air? They're going to be tracking that. They don't want to put it out because the Rock River's right there. They don't want any of the elements, the multiple elements that are on fire right now, to go into the Rock River. More on that press conference right now, live in real time. CBSN Chicago at cbschicago.com. Go there for more on that.